Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Hyliion stock, and I've got a bit of a Hyliion stock prediction for you today. We're going to be talking about why I am still bullish about this company, even though the share price has been hammered over recent months. I'm still very bullish about this company long term. I'm going to talk to you about how and why eventually Hyliion will win out, and this powertrain solution will make its way across fleets all over the United States and potentially all over the world as well. And there's a few key reasons for that, and we're going to go into that in the video today. If that sounds like something you're interested in, do please smash that like button, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you in there. Hey guys, welcome into the video. As I said, we're going to be talking about Hyliion stock today, and I've got a bit of a Hyliion stock prediction as to why this company will win out in the end. Now, we need this, I think. Trust your due diligence going forward in what you are excited about in this company, what it actually does, and the bright future that it has got ahead of it. The world is going green. We know that we need to reduce our greenhouse emissions, we need to reduce the CO2 emissions, and this company does a little bit of everything in terms of its powertrain to have a positive impact on that. Now, quickly looking at the share price today, we can see the market cap is now below $1 billion and it's at $5.45. This is now getting to the point where the company has as much cash as the company is worth. The company's sitting on 600 million in cash and the share price is only 937 million, and I believe that the intellectual property that Hyliion has is worth an awful lot more than the 200 million. So again, the buying opportunity still continues. You will have heard that time and time again, I am absolutely sure, especially since it came down from the all-time highs of $50 plus. My share price average for reference is about $14. I'm looking to get that down towards the lower end of $10, something like that, but I'm going to just continue chipping away over time, and this is the reason why, or these are the reasons today why I am bullish on that, and I've got a really good prediction for the company to win in the end going forward. So looking at next, I'm just going to quickly say that there's the money on the balance sheet, the $600 million in cash that it has. So moving forward, there are still quite a few institutional owners holding Hyliion stock. You've got Credit Suisse, and then you have the top owners here: Vanguard Group, BlackRock Fund Advisors, Handelsbanken, and a few others. I'm not going to list them all, but as you can see, most of them have been actually buying up shares or remain significant shareholders, even though they might have trimmed their position by 30,000 shares or so there. And there's plenty of mutual funds still holding this company as well. So that is a pretty decent sign. These guys do an awful lot of research. If they're all bailing out left, right and centre at these share prices, then there'd be a bit of a concern, but the share prices are still the same, and a lot of these companies are using, and these mutual funds and institutional ownership are using it as a chance to load the bus basically and get significant return. Anyway, moving on into why this company will win going forward. It uses RNG. It can run on CNG. We've seen that, and that is just a compressed natural gas, but renewable natural gas is where the bread is made in terms of this company. As you can see here, it is collected, renewable natural gas is collected from landfill or dairy cows or food waste, which we all produce, and especially methane from dairy cow manure and that sort of thing is heavily damaging to the environment, and this is something that the company Hyliion can burn up rather than it going straight to the atmosphere. And it goes through the separation, so collection, separation, pressurization, and then it can be used for loads of different things. And as you can see, you've got an industrial user, commercial user, but this is what we're interested in here: a CNG or RNG vehicle fuel. Now there's two ways it can do this. It can be renewable natural gas can just be pumped straight into the CNG grid and bring the whole carbon footprint of the whole CNG side of things down just that little bit, or it can be directly put into the vehicle at any one stage for a company to directly say they have got net carbon negative emissions for their vehicle, which might be something that Hyliion operators may consider going forward, saying, hey, look at us, we are completely carbon neutral. And as a truck haulage company, that is absolutely huge. Moving on to the next thing, there's 7 things that you need to know about renewable gas. Made by the article's made by Tom Chris and John Feldman on the 7th of January 2021. If you want the article here, it's on greenbiz.com, article 7. Just Google search it, guys, it definitely comes up. I'm not going to read the whole thing for you, just the complete highlights. Renewable gas can make meaningful decarbonisation contributions to the extent that it results in a net reduction in methane emissions. That is the key thing. Methane is even worse than CO2 for the atmosphere, so if we can capture that and Hyliion trucks can burn it, that is a massive win for companies and the world as a whole. So you need to know where the biggest sources of renewable gas are. It's currently landfills, but there are other sources as well, as we know, manure, food waste, etc. There are companies that are working on which I'll get to in a minute, CLNE, who are working on capturing all this and getting it into the CNG network. This is quite an old photo here. I believe it is dated in 2012, but as you can see, these are some of the operational natural gas facilities, renewable natural gas facilities in the United States. This is now 10 years old. This will be a lot bigger than that by standings today. So how is renewable natural gas used and what are its climate impacts? If it's burnt instead of going into the atmosphere, methane gets burned, it's not going to be as bad for the atmosphere and it gets all used up. And this is why methane is so bad, whereas diesel, conventional natural gas, RNG, landfill is all up here. This is the sort of thing, it's more harder to capture, but you can definitely get hold of it and burn it. So there's a few concerns out there as well that need to be addressed by companies going forward. Can it actually produce a lot? Well, there's a lot of untapped renewable natural gas at the moment, so the sector can still grow hugely. There's still potential to capture even more and get it burnt, and this is where Hyliion can come in supplying that as well. Not supplying it, using it up, should I say. And it does have a big part to play in the decarbonisation side of things. So yes, battery electric vehicles, battery electric trucks are going to have a huge part to play in the upcoming future, but not everybody can have an electric truck, otherwise the grid will not survive with electric vehicles, electric cars and electric trucks in it at the same time. And a lot of the grid is still supplied by burning fossil fuels as well, so we don't want to be starting up fossil fuel power plants to supply our battery vehicles and then producing more CO2. So the biggest obstacles right here up there is just the investment needed to grow and install the equipment. And the US states can get on board and help that out as well. California sort of led the way on this, but others will be able to pick up after as well. So moving on to the company that I'm going to talk about, that is the Clean Energy Company, CLNE, and this goes hand in hand with Hyliion. Greenhouse gases are something bad, they're making it into something good. Methane produces 27% of the emissions from the United States. Everybody likes milk, everybody likes having steak, and that is a big thing to try and capture those emissions and get that into vehicles and get it burned rather than straight into the atmosphere. So the transportation industry is also responsible for 28%, so you can see where the line is being drawn now between these two companies and how they can work hand in hand together to reduce the carbon intensity. So there we go, this is why methane is so bad, and then you've got just how much the emissions are going up here, produce here. So 0 emissions right there, that's where you want to get to, and burning the manure is extremely good at that. So why clean energy? Well, CLNE have 570 stations across the United States already. This is something that Thomas Healy at Hyliion talked massively about, is infrastructure already in place. For trucks, there are hardly any chargers capable of charging a truck quickly enough for it to be used. Locally, of course, that is fine, but Hyliion is targeting Class 8, which is trucks that need an incredibly long range, and there is no infrastructure at the moment for hydrogen or battery electric trucks to recharge en route to their destinations. They can charge at their original place where they're from, like such as Pepsi is going to get hold of some Tesla semi trucks, and they'll be able to charge them there, send them out on the merry little way, and then they'll come back to Pepsi HQ after doing the deliveries. That's fine, but there was nowhere for them to stop on the route, which is where again the Hyliion answer comes in, and it's an answer that can keep giving going forward. It's not just a stopgap. They talk about heavy duty trucks here. This is the thing. They work hand in hand with Hyliion very nicely. There's a fueling network out there. It can be discounted, it will give cleaner air, and it is fully sustainable. There are extended warranties available, grant funding, less maintenance, and it is quieter and odourless as well. So that is just another feather in the cap. And if we quickly have a look in the CLNE stock investing presentation, you can see here that some of the big players that they're making, they're growing their volumes that they're giving of RNG. They're a leading player in the United States. They've got a blue chip customer base, loads and loads of stations, and partners with some of the big energy providers. Now going forward, Hyliion is going to be leveraging this to get its powertrains into as many trucks as it possibly can, no matter who the OEMs are, whether that be well, Freightliner has recently pulled out of the side of things, but you've got Peterbilt, you've got Volvo, you've got all sorts of truck manufacturers in the United States that these can either be retrofitted in regards to the Hypertruck or sorry, I'm talking rubbish there. So they can be retrofitted in the hybrid side of things, the electric axle, or after that the Hypertruck will be fitted in at production only, which is also very, very good. If they can get that leveraged going forward, that is absolutely fantastic for Hyliion. So you can see here that they've got loads of goals, how it is made right here, from farm to digester, upgrading to CE stations, just how bad manure would be for the greenhouse gas emissions if that happened. Some of this I've already covered, so I'm just going to blitz quickly through it. This is the infrastructure in the United States already, and it is growing all the time. They're investing in that. They've got an awful lot of cash to invest in that as well. This is where it all comes in. So addressable markets for CLNE is across loads of vehicles, but this is what Hyliion is interested in here. 35 billion gallons per year market size. And this is what they want. There's 3.9 million Class 8 trucks. Imagine if Hyliion can get a significant percentage of them with the Hypertruck powertrain going forward. That is absolutely huge, and these trucks can then haul all the way across the United States because the infrastructure is already there, guys. So the gallons of fuel are mainly taken on by heavy duty trucks, which is exactly what Hyliion is and what Hyliion is going after, so that's good. There's some of the customers that already use natural gas or RNG in their trucks so far. So if they want to order Hyliion Hypertrucks to go with that, that will put the pressure on the OEMs to supply that, and that is exactly what we want. There's some really big names here, and a lot of these are on the Innovation Council as well. Like the Budweiser producer there is definitely on the Innovation Council. Then they've partnered up with these big energy companies right there. And then financial results, so that doesn't look as good. It's the volume per year you want to look at the moment. Revenue is a little bit here and there, especially because of the pandemic. But the company is pushing forward with it. It is sitting on $200 million worth of investment to open other stations with, and they'll work nicely hand in hand with Hyliion going forward so Hyliion Hypertrucks, hybrid EX trucks can use this natural gas to bring down their carbon footprint of fleets all over the United States. When word gets out and when this becomes mainstream technology, Hyliion is going to be making an absolute fortune off just supplying their powertrains, getting them in OEM built trucks, and this is just going to enable revenue to climb and climb and climb, and of course that will be the share price as well. Also, I haven't got it here to prove right in front of you, but Thomas Healy in the past has said he's open to including hydrogen in the Hyliion Hypertruck at some point when it becomes a possibility, and it is usable when the infrastructure is built, and having a fully electric truck as well if that also becomes a sustainable thing. But at the moment, this is the perfect solution to what is going on in the trucking industry, and the biggest emitters in the United States. 28% is heavy trucking, 28% is the dairy industry and methane going into the atmosphere. Hyliion is going to be tackling that head on, and that makes me think that this is just going to be a huge win and will be a multi-bag return on investment, especially at these share prices now. It is not much higher than what it actually holds in cash, and it is $4 lower than when it originally was when it de-SPAC'd. All of these reasons for me scream absolute buy and massive opportunity going forward for this company. And those are exactly the reasons why Hyliion remains one of the biggest positions in my portfolio. It was overtook by Tattooed Chef and is soon to be overtook by all three, by SoFi, because I'm a massive believer in SoFi stock as well. So SoFi will be my biggest position. Tattooed Chef will probably come in second. I'm still keeping a close eye on that. And Hyliion is currently third just because of how much I'm down on it, bearing in mind my average was $14. If I got anywhere close to back to $14, this would skyrocket to be in the biggest position in my portfolio. If it got to $24 to $30 a share by the end of this year or the end of 2023, then it would skyrocket, and I'd probably end up having to trim the portfolio because it would be so biased towards Hyliion at that point. But I would always keep hold of some Hyliion shares going forward over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years, just because of how much I believe in this company. Thank you very much for watching today, guys. I even wore green to get on in the to get alongside with the Hyliion and green energy revolution that is going on. Bit subconsciously, but it happened. Thank you very much for watching. Do please smash that like button and consider subscribing to the channel on your way out. I'll see you in another investing episode. Catch you later.